This week, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living right here in Kansas City, right after the intro. Welcome back, I'm Ben Miller, and this week we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Kansas City. But if you want to know what it's like to eat, breathe, sleep, drink, everything Kansas City related, don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell right here down at the bottom. And hell, hit me up on the comments. Let me know what neighborhoods, what areas you want me to do videos on. Talk about anything Kansas City. I'd be glad to help you out. And if you want the real deal inside scoop, go ahead and give me a call, give me a text, send an intergalactic messenger pigeon my way at area code 661-236-9055. Or hell, if you like the old internet, if you like the old Gmail, sending me the email thing, you can do that too at benmiller@kansascityhomes.com. I just want to be your source for information, not only here on YouTube, but any way you can get a hold of me. Promise you, I will not try to say Kansas City 50,000 times as I've done in my previous videos. Got these fancy new lights here, so I am ready to go with pro number one, which is traffic. Beep, beep. Car Josh. Vroom. Traffic here in Kansas City, especially coming from California where I was born and raised, traffic is a breeze. You're going to spend 15, 20 minutes going anywhere from the metro to the outskirts to the suburbs to nice parks, everything. It's about 15 or 20 minutes away. Some drives will take a little bit longer. I'll never forget when I was first moving here to Kansas City and I had somebody driving me around showing me the sights and sounds. They're pointing things out and he said, all right, Ben, we're going to hit the rush hour traffic right now. So we're zooming along at about 65 miles an hour and he's like, all right, here it goes. And it's about 4:30. So I get out my cell phone. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be stuck in traffic for 2 hours. This is going to suck. So I start looking up something on Facebook, start doing something mindless on my phone. And he's like, all right, here we go. Slows down to about 35 miles an hour, and then literally 2 seconds later, we're off at 65 miles an hour again. That was about it. That was about all the slowdown. Now, of course, he was being facetious. Of course, he was playing a joke on the guy from California trying to rib me about how bad our traffic was there. But the point is really, it's not that bad. Sometimes, if an errant Cessna lands on a freeway, which actually did happen about a year ago, or there's a crazy snowstorm or ice storm, or there's catastrophic accident, yeah, it's gonna slow down. But overall, traffic really isn't an issue. But the one thing I will say, and this is kind of a con, so Josh put a con right here, is people out here don't know how to drive. In my opinion. Now, Kansas Cityans, I know you're probably throwing stuff at me right now, and that's fine. I totally understand. But some of y'all don't know how to drive. It's called merging, right? So merging is like a zipper. Think of it like a zipper. So you're coming on a freeway and you just keep going the same speed and the zipper goes up, right? It's a zipper. It's fine. Kansas Cityans, a lot of you, because traffic wasn't really an issue until the last few years from what I've heard, and your issues aren't like California's, but you stop at the edge of the freeway and then you just sit there and then you wait to merge. That's not how merging works. So anyways, outside of the non-merging thing, Kansas Cityans do have a tough time navigating thicker trafficked areas. The other downside, honestly, a con to the traffic here, or the con to the lack of traffic here, would be our public transportation system is not the best. Yes, we have a cable car that goes from pretty much the entirety of downtown, so the River Market all the way up to the World War I Museum. But they're expanding the track. They're trying to put more bike lanes here. They're really trying to improve public transportation. Just the bad thing is we're kind of car dependent out here. So that's the con to having such great traffic on the freeways. Another pro that I love about living in Kansas City is the fact that it's steeped in history. So can you put George Washington right there, or Abraham Lincoln? I don't know, somebody put a historical figure there, put Plato there for all I care. But it is definitely steeped in history. We have the World War I Museum, which I mentioned. We have Union Station. We have the Missouri River. We have Nelson Atkins Museum. We have so many things that point to a wonderful, colorful past, not only here in the Midwest, but right here in Kansas City. We also have the Jazz Museum. We have the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. There is so much history wrapped up in the Midwest right here on display for us to see. So it's pretty awesome. Now, the con to that would be obviously some of the history isn't so awesome. But Kansas City has made huge strides over the last 20 years to try to make up for the not so colorful past. Kansas City has made wonderful strides in the last 20 years to correct the not so great parts about our history. Another thing that I love about Kansas City is that it is surrounded by natural beauty. All right, Josh, put a tree right there. Tree. Surrounded by natural beauty because we get all 4 seasons, which is something I'll go into in just a minute. We have so much natural beauty surrounding us. Not only just here in the city too, we got parks in the city. We got a lot of lovely parks in the city, but we have a lot of great parks surrounding the city. There's a park that I go fishing at all the time called James A. Reed, and it's in Lee Summit, Missouri, which is about 25 minutes south of here. And it has 10 lakes on it. And they're all filled with huge bass. So if you love fishing like I do, it is a great place to spend an afternoon. And if you got kids, a lot of these parks have bike trails and playgrounds. It is just surrounded with beautiful, beautiful parks. Now, the downside to that is there's always a con. The downside is some people here don't know how to treat our national parks or our state parks or our local parks. There's a lot of trash. People haven't got the memo that littering in your parks and your streams and your rivers isn't a good idea. I mean, I'm not saying that's all of you. And again, I don't want Kansas Cityans to get mad at me because I love this city. That's why I'm doing this video. That's why I'm a realtor here. So I love this city. But some of you, again, don't know how to treat these natural areas. I saw a lady one time when I was drinking some coffee on my front porch, and she literally opened her bag, was taking handfuls of garbage and just throwing it down the storm drain. And I was just blown away. And it's often where I'm driving down the street and I'll see somebody honestly chuck their trash out their window. So people have a lot to learn here, but I'm sure they're gonna get it eventually. And we do have a lot of people that care and try to pick up all the trash once a rough weekend at the lake has happened. All right, let's talk about the weather. Oh, the weather. That's the one big deterrent for everybody in their lives is, oh my God, how could you live in a place that has tornadoes and gets cold during the winter and hot during the summer? And I'll be honest with you. Yes, California is a temperate climate, but that's actually the exception for most of the rest of the world and especially the United States. Most places have hot summers, cold winters, mild springs, mild falls, that kind of thing. And honestly, in my personal opinion, if you're judging your whole life about the weather, I don't know, you might want to get some new hobbies. I mean, the weather, you just get used to it. You bundle up during the winter, you get some new shorts for the summer. I mean, right now I'm recording in this studio, or in my home studio, and it is hot, hot, hot in here. I cannot wait to get done with this video so I can go out into the air conditioning because this room in particular doesn't have any air conditioning, but you just deal with it. Yes, the weather's schizophrenic. One day it'll be freezing cold and the next day it'll be blistering hot. But again, the trade-off with that is the fact that you get all 4 seasons. So con, weather schizophrenic. Pro, you get all 4 seasons, and the spring and fall are awesome here. Great sunsets too. Now, one of the cons about living in Kansas City is the travel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Because we're in the middle of the United States, it should be easy access to anywhere. The flight patterns are a little weird flying out of Kansas City. Driving to the nearest ocean's about 9 hours away. Big, huge, beautiful soaring mountains about 8 or 9 hours away in Denver. So you're kind of stuck here and kind of have to deal with the natural beauty that we offer in Missouri and in Kansas City. So that can be a little disheartening for people, or it's called being landlocked. The other thing is, you're kind of a long drive from any other big metropolitan city. Chicago's about 8 hours away. St. Louis is 4 hours away. If you're watching this video and you're thinking about moving to Missouri, don't move to St. Louis. I'm sorry, St. Louis people. I love you guys, but I just don't get it. I don't get the city. Anyways, and then you're about 4 hours to Lincoln, Nebraska. So you're kind of just here. This is it. This is the biggest metropolitan city within a 4 or 5 hour drive. So that's why we have a lot of things to do, because we want you to stay here. We don't want you to drive 4, 8, 6 hours away to get entertainment. Another con about living in Kansas City, crime. Crime, crime, crime. Public perception, crime. We have to talk about it. The crime rate here in Kansas City is not great. However, I've always said that Kansas City is a city of pockets. So I will do a video on the worst neighborhoods in Kansas City, and I'm going to try to do that from a very analytical perspective, but I'm going to tell you the very humanistic, real part about the crime rate here in Kansas City. It's not good in some areas, of course. That comes with living in any larger metropolitan city. But I will say, because Kansas City is the city of pockets, and I'll explain that, pockets meaning even in the worst neighborhoods, there is most likely a block, 2 blocks, 1 street, 3 streets inside of that not so good area where people love and care about their neighbors. They want their communities to be better. They don't want the crime. There is always, shockingly actually, really beautiful, lovely streets even in those areas. I try to tell people it's just all about finding your area. It's about finding your street. And there is a lot of really great neighborhoods, really great streets, even in the roughest neighborhoods. Now, the pro to that, and it's one of my favorite things, is the sense of community here is amazing. I've said it in other videos. You can go watch my other videos, which I'm sure because you've already subscribed and you've already hit the notifications bell, there's a lot of really great communities here. Strong neighborhood associations, strong homeowners associations. There's local farmer communities, there's farmers markets. I mean, you can find it here in the metro, you can find it all around the city and in the suburbs. People really care here in Kansas City, and that's one of the things that was so endearing to me about moving here 3 years ago. Now, I will say, with that comes, people love to talk here, which is fine. I love to talk. I'm talking into a camera, for God's sakes. I love talking too, but it can be a little off-putting if you're not used to it. I remember one of the first days I was here and I was getting some groceries and had my groceries in my hand. I was eating tacos that night because I love tacos. By the way, there's great Mexican food here. That should be on the list somewhere. Okay, so real quick, a big pro, Mexican food. The Mexican food here is incredible. Anyways, so I'm getting ready to go eat some tacos in my hotel room because I was doing some work stuff and trying to find a rental. And this guy looks at in my basket and he's all, tacos for dinner tonight, huh? And I look at him, being from California, we just want to get in, get out, commuter culture, all that kind of stuff. I don't have time to talk to you. And I said, yeah, tacos tonight. And he's like, I love tacos. I was like, yeah, man, me too. He's like, where do you live at? What do you want, my social security number too? But anyways, point being is people are friendly and they like to talk and they want to know about you. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to run into super sweet people everywhere, but for the most part, I found the people to be endearing and very nice here. It's just something you got to get used to. If you're from the East Coast, West Coast, or someplace where you're just going crazy and you got no time to talk to anybody, you're gonna have to learn to slow down and really just take it in. And soon enough, you'll find yourself like I was like 2 months later being like, talking to people in the store, hey, chicken for dinner tonight, huh? Oh man, I'm turning into that guy. All right, the biggest, now we're gonna go, we plowed our way through the pros and cons of Kansas City, and I always wanna give you guys a fair and balanced opinion about living here. That's what I'm here for. I want you to be informed. If you're going to move here, if you're going to buy here, if you're going to sell here, if you're going to invest here, you need to know the real deal about living anywhere. And that's what this channel's for. You want to know what it's like to eat, breathe, sleep, live, drink the city that you're going to invest any time and money into. With that said, the number one pro out of everything we've talked about today is we are home to the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City. Okay, so Josh is my producer. Flash Kansas City Chiefs world champions, like right there. Just that's right. We love our sports here, and that has bonded our community so strong that we are the home of the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, that's a pro, because actually when you look at it, whenever you have successful sports franchises, that brings a lot of commerce and a lot of things into the community that can help bolster it and put it on a national scale where it needs to be. I love this city. I fell in love with it when I came here 3 years ago, and I want you to love it just as much as I do. If you have any questions, go ahead, hit the comments below, hit subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and like I said, send me an intergalactic messenger pigeon if you want, and we can talk about everything Kansas City. I want you guys to love this city as much as I do. Send me a message at area code 661-236-9055. And until next time, I'm Ben Miller, and we'll see you on Wrestling with Real Estate, brother.